This is Rogers TV.
Oh no!
What is it, honey?
Mommy, the Laziri swamp is in trouble.
Oh, let me see. Oh no, it looks like the League of Health-Zapping Supervillains are trying to destroy the swamp. And you know something? There's a swamp creature that lives in there. We've got to save it. What do you guys think?
Let's go!
Alrighty. Welcome to this week's episode of Nerd Mom's Kitchen Adventures, where we make healthy eating fun and delicious. And as always, I have my two sous chefs with me, Erin and Michael.
Hi!
So this week, we are going to be making, what's the name of the swamp creature we're making, Erin?
The Laziri swamp creature.
Right. So we're going to make a Laziri swamp creature to try and save the Laziri swamp. And we're going to make a little Greek salad just to go on the side. So let's get started. Now, this is actually going to be made out of spaghetti squash. So for anybody who's trying to get more vegetables into your diet, we are using a spaghetti squash instead of regular pasta. Now this recipe can actually be vegan with a couple of little tweaks, but for the most part it is vegetarian. So we're going to start by cutting our spaghetti squash in half. I already have the oven preheated to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And we'll just get this cut open here. Watch your fingers, please. Make sure you've got the appropriate knife that you're using. And just get that cut up. You guys might want to move back. There we go. Now, you'll see inside the spaghetti squash is some seeds. All we're going to do is we're going to take a spoon and scrape those out. Now, if you feel so inclined, you can roast the seeds and they're delicious to eat. But today we're just going to toss them. Now, spaghetti squash is really kind of interesting because when you look at it here, it just looks like any other normal squash. But when it cooks, it's going to pull apart and it kind of looks like spaghetti noodles. And squash is so good for you. It's got vitamin C in it, beta carotene, selenium, fiber. So it's a fantastic vegetable. There we go. Just put that aside for now. And I've got a parchment lined cookie sheet, so we're just going to lay our spaghetti squash on our parchment lined sheet. Now here I have 3 tablespoons of avocado oil. I like using avocado oil when I'm cooking because it stands up to heat better than olive oil. Olive oil I would use more in like a dressing, that sort of thing. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the avocado oil and we're going to brush it on just like this. Honey, do you want to finish brushing it on?
Yes, please. Can I brush it on the other one?
Yeah, you can do one and Erin can do the other. There you go. Yeah, if you want, you might need a little bit more. Now, while he's doing that, I'm going to start putting on some salt and pepper. If you want, honey, you can put on the salt. Salt it all around. Yeah, there you go. Flip them over.
Do the salt.
Yep. There you go. And do it all around the outside. That's good. That's good. And we'll flip that one over.
Don't get rid of your avocado oil because we'll be using it in another part of the recipe.
Perfect. Thanks, honey. Now we're going to put our spaghetti squash in the oven and we're going to roast it for about 40 to 50 minutes until you can stick a fork through them and they're nice and soft. And they'll be a little bit brown too. So that's how you'll know that they're done. All right, so while we're waiting for our spaghetti squash to cook, we're gonna start preparing everything else. Now, I already have 1 can of lentils, rinsed and drained. We're going to start by cutting up 1 onion. And you wanna cut it up fairly small. And the reason for that is basically, this is going to be a messy looking dish, okay? It's a swamp creature. It's not supposed to be pretty. So we want to have everything just kind of rough chopped, but relatively small so that everything just looks messy. Next, we're going to start preparing some cloves of garlic. So it really kind of depends how much you like garlic. I really like it, so we're going to use 3 cloves. First thing you want to do is you want to take the flat part of your knife and you're going to want to crush your clove of garlic by just pushing down on it. This is really going to help release the health benefits of it, and garlic is so good for you because it's really good for your heart health and your blood health and so much more. So we are going to start by just peeling our garlic. So now, next, we're going to just chop this up fairly small. And then we'll put it aside. I'm going to put it with the onions because we're going to cook them at the same time. Alrighty, next, I kind of want a couple of different colors. Did you know that you can kind of tell what nutrients are in something just by the color that they are? So orange a lot of times has beta carotene.
I know one.
Yeah, what?
Vitamin C.
Vitamin C, yeah, is in a lot of orange foods. Also in green foods, some red foods. So, yeah.
Can I do inside?
Yeah, you can. There we go. So I'm going to chop the peppers up fairly small, just like everything else. And I'm only going to use, you can use 1 whole one or 2 half ones if you want different colors, whatever you'd prefer. I'm doing a half of a red and a half of an orange. And lastly, I'm going to take about a cup or 2 of little cherry tomatoes and just slice those in half. And then all of our prep work is done. Now that we've got everything prepped and ready to go, we're gonna start cooking all of our ingredients. So I have a pan here and I'm going to heat it up on medium-low. So I'll turn it on. Go. We'll just leave that for a second to heat up before we add our avocado oil. All right, so we'll add our avocado oil now that our pan is heated up. Let that swish around a bit. So next we're going to add our garlic and our onions. We want to cook these on a relatively low heat because we don't want them to change color. We just want them to become a little bit translucent. So we'll cook them for about 5 minutes, just until they get a bit softened. So while we're waiting for our onions and garlic to cook, we're going to start working on our Greek salad. And just check that every now and then. So I'll put the rest of our tomatoes and peppers to the side. And so now we're going to cut up some more tomatoes and peppers, but these are going to be bigger chunks because where we're using an acidic vinaigrette, the bigger chunks can handle it a little bit more. So again, I'm going to use our orange and red peppers. Try and get lots of colorful foods into us. Hey, buddies?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And we'll just take them, and this, again, doesn't need to be pretty. We're just going to throw them into a bowl. I think our onions and garlic are soft enough. So next I'm going to add my peppers and my tomatoes. Do you want to add it? Remember,
Yes.
very gently add it because you don't want the oil splashing back up, right? So very gentle. There you go. Oh, do you hear that sizzle?
Yeah.
Here, it's just... So now you're going to want your tomatoes and peppers to cook just basically until it breaks down a little. We may end up adding a bit of water near the end just to make it a bit saucier, but we'll see how it goes. So, continue prepping our
Salad.
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 Salad in there. I got 2 cucumbers here, 2 little cucumbers, so we'll chop those up for our salad. Yeah.
Can I have a piece of cucumber?
Yeah, when I get it cut up. There you go. Keep checking on our peppers and tomatoes. Now we'll take the rest of our little tomatoes here and again cut those in half. All right. Hey, bud, do you want to put the tomatoes in there?
Okay.
I'll give this a stir. All right, so about now we're going to add in the lentils. You want to add them in?
Sure.
So again, be very gentle, careful. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Good. Dude, do you want to give it a little stir?
Okay.
So hold it here so you got good control. Not too close. Don't touch the pan.
I can do it.
Okay. Careful you don't touch the pan with your arm because it's very hot.
I'm not going to.
Good job. All right. Excellent. Thanks, buddy. That's good. All right, next we're gonna add some black olives to our salad. Not all of this. I need some of these for another recipe, but you know, maybe about a half a cup. There we go. And we're going to make a dressing. So, I love my easy dressings. We are going to start with 2/3 of a cup of olive oil. You want to put that in, honey? Okay. There you go. Put it. And do you want to add in 1/3 of a cup? Use 2 hands maybe. 1/3 of a cup of red wine vinegar. There you go. Oh, that's all right. Just wipe it up. It's no big deal.
Turning into red wine vinegar.
And we've got a tablespoon of grainy mustard that we're going to add in. You got your spoon? There you go. And we've got a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. Yeah, just put it in.
It's just trying
There
to
you
show
go.
them.
I'll add a little bit of salt and pepper. Thank you.
Can I do the pepper?
Yeah.
Could I shake it first?
There we go. Here, let me finish it off. Let me finish it off. Thanks.
Can I shake it there?
Yeah. And then all you do is you seal it up nice and tight, and you give it to someone who wants to give it a good shaky shaky. There you go. All right, pass it over to the other guy. And you can have a shaking dance party. All right, that's good, guys. So I want our swamp creature sauce to be a little bit saucier than it is. So I'm gonna add, I've got about a cup of water here. I'm gonna start with half of that just to see how it goes. Because I can always add more, but I can't take it away. No, actually, I think I want to add all of it. And we're also going to add our spices. So I've got a couple tablespoons of dried basil. If you can get nice fresh basil, that's even better. You can use about 1/8 of a cup of fresh basil. And thank you, you want to put in 1 tablespoon of oregano. Same thing, if you can get fresh, fresh is always better, but that can be hard to get sometimes. So stir that in. And we'll put in some salt and pepper just for flavor. So again, I'm using a mix of Himalayan pink salt and sea salt, just because they both have different properties, but it's a great way to boost some of your nutrition because sea salt has selenium and iodine in it, and pink Himalayan salt has magnesium in it, which is great to help you sleep. All right, well, that's looking a bit better. Okay, so while that's going, I'm going to cut up some feta cheese for our salad. I use goat feta, and I really like the briny taste that it gives to a Greek salad. Right, add that in. And where we're not using anything leafy in this, we can dress our salad now. And it can sit and let the flavors really go through it. Let's see. All right, I'm probably only using about half. Another little shake just so I can make sure I got some of the grainy mustard out. There we go. I'll give that a stir. There we go. Now, doesn't this look lovely, guys?
Yeah.
Nice and bright and colorful. Awesome. So put that aside and just let it sit for a minute. So now we have a good bit of dressing left. This will last, for a week or so in the fridge. So it's perfect. You can use it another time. All right. Oh, everything is really starting to break down there now. Now, I'm just going to go check on our spaghetti squash to see how they're doing. As you can see, our spaghetti squash are quite soft. They're a little bit brown, so they are completely done. Which is great. Flip those over. These are really, really hot, so I'm not going to touch them with my hands. I'm going to use a pair of tongs to hold on to them. And then I'm going to just use a fork and scrape it away from the sides. And so, like you can see, which is really cool, they kind of look like little spaghetti noodles. So we're going to just finish off our sauce, and then we will put everything together and make our swamp creatures. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add 2 to 3 cups of spinach, which is, I don't know, that's about a cup. So I usually go with more spinach is better. Let's get that in. And all we want is for it to just wilt down a little bit. So now everything is cooked and ready to go. We just need to make our
Laziri swamp monster.
Okay. So we start by just taking a little bit of our spaghetti squash and putting it down. And then we top it with our sauce. So like I said, it's not meant to be pretty at all. It's meant to be like you're in a swamp, so it's gonna be messy. Now, do you want to create your swamp monster? You've got chives there. I've got some stuffed olives. These ones are stuffed with almonds, so kind of looks a bit like an eye. There you go. If you want to make yourself your swamp creature, and I'll start getting up Michael's. Here we go. Take a little bit of our spaghetti squash. We'll grate a little bit of parm on it. If you don't want to use parm, it's not necessary. There we go. And Bud, you want to make a couple little stalks coming out?
No.
It's okay. It's okay. By taking some of our spaghetti squash and put that down on the plate. You kind of want to pile it up. Go. Piled up, and then we'll take some of our sauce and put that over top. And then we take a toothpick and a stuffed olive. Now, I went with an almond stuffed olive, but you can choose whatever kind you want. And if you want to have just some, almost like stalks coming out, you can add in some chives. There we go, just to make it look a bit messier. Like I said, this is not supposed to be a pretty dish. It's supposed to be a swamp monster. So we're gonna put a little bit more swamp stuff on top. And then I'm grating some Parmesan cheese. If you want this to be a vegan recipe, just omit the parm. And I'll put our salad on the side. And here we go. We've got our Laziri swamp creature. Now that we've got our Laziri swamp monster made, we are going to go put it in the box in the forest. If you want this recipe, just come check it out on our website at www.nerdmomnutrition.com. And we will see you the next time. Bye.
Bye.
If you have a comment about this program